What's going on, everybody? Let's Talk Jets Radio. Cheers to a new season. Welcome back. The Jets reported to training camp today. Link is posted in the chat if you guys want to hop on and vent about all this Hassan Reddick nonsense, which is actually crazy. I did not imagine when I posted this stream about 2 weeks ago that I'd still be talking about Hassan Reddick tonight. We got Mets-Yankees also going on. Mets down 1-0 right now. But the Mets are actually playing pretty well. Exciting times. So if you guys want to hop on, feel free to do so. I'm sure at some point I will get into a very large rant about Hassan Reddick tonight. Hard to figure out exactly, who to throw blame on with this situation. But like early on, before the reports came out about him rejecting a contract, like I was all over Reddick, just for the fact that it seemed like there was some kind of handshake agreement, verbal agreement that he was going to be there, negotiate in good faith. He would be there for minicamp. He'd be there for training camp. And now he's not here, so I don't know what the hell's going on. So we'll get into all that tonight. We'll get into some roster battles if you guys want to talk that as well. Link is posted, so definitely feel free to hop on. I'm all into this Mets game right now, but anything you guys want to talk about, any questions you guys have, feel free to fire away. Feels good to be back on right now. So let's say what's up to the chat real quick. Liam, what's going on? Tyson is not on tonight, but I believe we will be doing a show next week, Monday night, 8 o'clock. That'll probably be our first show back in about 8 months. Jose, what's going on? Good to see you. Haven't talked to you in a minute. Brian, what's up? Friggin' hot. I might have to turn my AC on, right? I turned it off right before the stream because it gets a little loud, but I'm friggin' sweating my ass off right now, so I might have to turn that on. Hopefully it's not too loud if I do. What's up, Kev? Bub's in the chat. What's going on? Bub's getting big time. Seeing all his videos popping up everywhere. Good to see him still working out. Matt, what's up? Todd, how you doing? Random Man, anyone need training camp tickets? I got 2 extra tickets for a few dates. Yeah, I also have a few extra for Thursday's practice. If anybody needs, just shoot me a message on Twitter. I'm probably going solo for Thursday, so I did 4 for each date. So I'm pretty sure I got 3 extras for Thursday. Everybody already claimed my tickets for Saturday, but the other 2 practices that were open, I'm pretty sure I have some extras there as well. So if you guys need some tickets, hit me up. I'll do what I can. Try to spread them out as best I can. What's up? What's up, Charlie? Yeah, me and Tyson will be back up Monday night, I believe. NYJF coming back as well. Probably the first week of training camp. We were supposed to do a show this week, and like everybody's schedule is just kind of all over the place. But yeah, at some point, I think probably next week, we may be doing a show. So stay tuned for that. Bernard, what's up? Tyrone's doing good. I hit him up a few weeks ago. It was his birthday. Haven't talked to him as much recently. I know he's fired up for the season, though. Yeah, Tyson's always doing stuff with Jet Central. All good. Jets are my second team. Who's your first team? John, what's up, man? Glad you're back. Not to be pessimistic, but if this year goes bad for any reason, are you bringing Joe Douglas back? Some fans legit want him extended today. That's a question that you can't even answer right now. I mean, you got to wait and just kind of see how the season plays out. I think that if you're a playoff team and you're one and done, that's probably it for the coaching staff. But that would at least give Joe Douglas, I think, some wiggle room to probably hire a new staff. And you would think this young core would probably stay in place and just figure like, we need somebody to lead this thing. We don't need a full rebuild. So that's kind of my hope. Like everyone's talking expectations. Like, is it division? Is it just making the playoffs? To me, you got to at least make the playoffs. You got to get some good vibes back in that building. Otherwise, that's where you start getting into that territory that you don't want to be in, where guys want out. Guys are asking for trades like that. That's what I really worry about. If this is a complete colossal failure, then yeah, Joe Douglas is probably out, Salah's out, and you're starting over with the GM that's probably trading all these young guys. So at least if you make the playoffs, I think there's some good vibes in that building, and there's at least a thought that maybe we just need a coaching staff. And that's probably our biggest worry right now because this roster is friggin' loaded. Thank you for the super chat, John. Definitely appreciate it. Nate also has an extra ticket for Thursday, so if you need a ticket for Thursday, you can hit up Nate as well. Hoping for the best, but I can't shake off how last year happened. For me, last year's in the past, man. Like the vibes at training camp were just so immaculate last year with all the Rodgers chants. It felt like something special was going to happen. So I'm at least trying to bring those same vibes into this year. Obviously, anything can happen. Knowing the Jets, it's been 13 years since we made the playoffs, but I can't go into the season thinking negatively. Like I can't do that. Obviously, the Hassan Reddick situation is a little bit differently, but as far as the roster, the team, the makeup of the team, the job that Joe Douglas did this offseason, I'm feeling relatively positive. So I think this is a roster that could absolutely compete with anybody. Now, coaching, that's obviously a completely different story. Thanks, BT. Is Tyrone coming back? Yeah, we'll probably have Tyrone on at some point. I know he's been busy. He's always like driving. He's on the road, so it's tough for him to make it on stream sometimes. You and Tyson doing a show anytime soon? Yeah, man. Next Monday we should be doing a show. So next Monday, 8:00. Stay tuned for that. Let's go Jets by Ur and Damon. What's up, man? Packers fan here. All right. We get a lot more viewers from Packers fans nowadays. I know it's a dumb question in July, but I can't help but think about it. It's normal to think about that now, John. I totally understand it. What's up, Clancy? How you doing? The Reddick situation is reflective of the Jets front office ineptitude. So are we really blaming the Jets front office if Reddick gave them the handshake verbal agreement that he was going to be there negotiating in good faith while he was at minicamp and training camp and all that? That's where I have a hard time blaming the front office, because I don't always believe everything that comes out of Florham Park, but it's very hard to believe that Joe Douglas would have pulled the trigger on this trade without some kind of assurance that Reddick was going to be there. It seems very hard to believe that. And I know the report that came out that he turned down the offer, as far as converting some of the non-guaranteed money into guarantees. That should have been the automatic red flag right there. If you're Joe Douglas, like, I'm not finalizing this deal until I at least have some assurances that you're going to be here for this year. The contract extension, 25 to 28 million per year over 3 to 4 years. That's something that, yes, could have been worked out during the season and training camp after the year, but you had to have some kind of guarantee that he would be there for this year. And if he already rejected whatever your offer was to convert the non-guaranteed into guarantees and offer incentives and whatever else, then yeah, that's where Joe Douglas absolutely, I think, deserves some blame, as well as the Bryce Huff situation and the McDonald pick, which I think was like the first domino to kind of set this whole thing in motion. So a lot of shit that I wish we weren't talking about on the first day of training camp, but it is what it is. Hairless Elmo in the chat. What's up, man? Haven't seen you in a minute. All in this year, starting with good vibes. It's a 2-year window, man. All in, trying to have some good vibes, try to speak it into existence. I can't go into a year being negative. I really can't. So PT, they should have just signed Huff for the 17 million per, which is only 3 million more than what Reddick refuses to play for now. The only issue with that, and I've said this a few times on a bunch of different videos, once we got to last season, I don't think Bryce Huff was signing any kind of extension with the Jets. And especially once he hit free agency, I feel like he was just looking for more of an opportunity to show what he's capable of. Whereas with the Jets, with how Saleh does all the rotations and everything else, I don't get the sense that he wanted to stay here. I think 2 years ago, yeah, like the same way they did the JFM extension, I think they probably could have did that with Huff. But last year, I think he was dead set on becoming a free agent and just finding an opportunity somewhere else where he can maximize his potential. And I just feel like he didn't think that was going to happen with the Jets. And obviously the draft pick of McDonald, him being the heir apparent there, I feel like all these things kind of led to the situation that we're in now with Reddick, which hopefully is resolved soon, but I really don't know who's going to blink first. Honestly, I almost want them to not re-sign Reddick. You let Huff walk just to pay an older Reddick more. Do they even need a 3-down edge rusher? Well, I mean, you lost JFM, you lost Huff. I feel like you kind of need Reddick, and I feel like their hands are kind of tied where they legitimately need him this year. We don't know exactly what we're going to get out of McDonald. Obviously, you have Jermaine Johnson on the other side, but beyond that, it's a lot of guys that we really don't know about. So, Jalen Holmes, are we hoping, on him? It's a lot of question marks. So Yankees just stole a base, up 1-0, runner on second, bottom of the fourth. Of course, the Mets can't hit again tonight. Trying to come up with a call-in name tonight. Depends on how crazy we want to get. I'm sure it'll be something with Reddick. Pretty sure Jomo is going to be hopping on at some point. I reached out to a few people. I think Bub said he was going to hop on. We got a few people waiting in queue right now. I will get to the chat. I'll get to calls in just a minute, just answering a few more chats here. Not worried. He's going to sign. Everything will be fine, my boys. Well, he's getting fined $50,000 a day, so at some point he's going to have to show up. I just don't know when that's going to be. It seems like he's dead set on getting that extension and getting what he feels he deserves based on what the market is right now for pass rushers. But the problem is for the Jets, you're ultimately paying him for what he did with the Eagles. So, can the Jets, especially with so many guys that are on 1-2 year contracts, a lot of young guys that you got to pay, can you really afford to give Reddick 3 to 4 years at $25 million a year before he's done anything in the Jets uniform? And if he said he was going to be here for minicamp and then he just doesn't show up, he hasn't been in communication with Saleh, like this whole situation just reeks, man. You think Adams going to be here at some point? I do. I do. I probably shouldn't get my hopes up on that, but it felt like once Rodgers became a Jet, that him reuniting with Devontae Adams eventually that was going to happen. It kind of feels like that's going to be the last piece. I know the Jets have some extra draft picks to deal from next year. So you just kind of hope the Raiders get off to a rough start. Adams is 32. I feel like it would just make sense. You look at his cap hits the next 2 years at $36 million a year. I just think it makes too much sense. I think the Raiders are, a couple of years away. And, at a certain point, you saw the frustration with him on, the Netflix series. I just don't think he's going to want to stay there. I think he's going to ask out. And ultimately, nowadays, I feel like players have a little bit more control over where they go. If you say, I don't want to play here, I'm not going to sign an extension here, you get a little bit of leverage that way. So we'll see. Let's go, fellas. Shotgun a beer for every Jets touchdown this season. This is our year. I may have to do that. I'll be out there in San Francisco week 1. Shout out to David for taking me out there. And then I'm pretty sure we're going straight from San Francisco all the way to Nashville and then back. So it'll be like 3 games in 11 days. So I'll be posting plenty of content, but I'll be tired as hell. So should be a good time, though. Hopefully Jets give us our money's worth. Still think that we should have signed Huff years ago. That's exactly the same way I feel. You signed Huff 2 years ago. You probably don't even bother with drafting McDonald. You probably take a receiver there. And this is a completely different conversation that we're having right now. So Jets are my second team. Jags are my first. All right, Jets at Jacksonville, December 15th. Hopefully we're out there still with some meaning left in the year. I just don't understand why they pulled the trigger on the trade if they weren't even close on an extension. The extension I'm not so worried about. It was more him turning down whatever the offer was, turning the non-guaranteed money into guarantees. Once he turned that down, that's where, if I'm Joe Douglas, that's the red flag right there. You say, all right, we need to finalize this year first. Once we know that you're under contract, you're happy, you're going to be here this year, then we can go forward and maybe talk about an extension. But even then, when the Jets acquired Reddick, I didn't feel like they were looking at him as a 3 to 4 year answer. I looked at it more as a Band-Aid, hoping that they would take a longer look at McDonald. If he pans out, then you just let Reddick walk. If McDonald doesn't pan out, then maybe you do try to sign Reddick. But I didn't see an extension happening before the year. And it seemed like there was some kind of an understanding before they made that trade. And then somewhere along the way, for whatever reason, something changed. So frustrating as hell. David, what's up? Am I going to see you on Thursday at camp? Hopefully you're out there. JD needs to hire Afram to negotiate. Great comment there. What's up, everyone? Looks like McDonald will get some extra snaps tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, I would assume he's going to be rolling with the ones now in all likelihood. Remember those articles saying Hackett would share play calling? Did anything come of that? I don't believe so. I'm pretty sure the Jets looked around. I think they were talking with Arthur Smith. They wanted to bring him in, and then he took the offensive coordinator job. But yeah, I'm just hoping that Rodgers is basically going to be your coach on the field. I have zero faith in Hackett, but I do have a lot of faith in Rodgers just based on, what I saw in training camp last year, him adjusting plays at the line. It was just a completely different offense. So I'm hoping that's going to be the answer. Finishing up a few more chats here, and then I'll start bringing some people on. If I can get a ticket, I'll be there Thursday. Well, David, good news. I have a ticket for you. A few other people I think have tickets as well. But yeah, definitely hit me up. I got one for you if you need it. Always something with this organization. Absolutely. All right, so let's bring some people on here. I will start it off with our usual leadoff hitter. Bring on Bubs.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, man. How you been?
Doing good. Excited for camp. Very, very pumped up for camp.
How's your summer been going?
I've been going good. Been looking forward to, with the Yankees struggling, I've been really looking forward to training camp. So, but yeah, I'm doing good, pretty good. I'm heading out to Colorado in a couple weeks, so that'll be fun. But
Nice,
kind
man.
of just
How long are
hanging
you
low,
staying out
chilling
there
out.
for?
So, I've got some family, so I'll be out there for about a week, play some golf. So
Nice.
enjoy, yeah,
Very
just
cool.
kind of chill out. But yeah, I was lucky enough. I'm actually I'll be at camp Thursday, so hope to see some of you guys out there as well. I'm really
I'll
looking
definitely
forward
be
to
there
it.
in my usual spot, man. So,
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely hope to see you out there. It'll be a lot of fun.
what are your thoughts on this whole Reddick nonsense?
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating. You know, it's just like it kind of feels like the same old, not same old Jets, but
Yeah.
there's never a dull moment with the Jets. You know, you hope to go into this year after last year with all the hard knock stuff. You had all the the attention and Rodgers and all that stuff. You kind of hope to go into this training camp under the radar, where you didn't have a ton of attention, kind of fly under the radar, and then you go out and hopefully put a good product on the field for the first time in a while. And then this pops up, which is unfortunate. It's not ideal. I think something will get done. I'm not panicking just yet. I think if you get to like August 1st, you start to get worried, and then if you get to August 10th, August 12th, like preseason week 2 or so, then you legitimately start to get concerned about football shape. Is learning the playbook, building chemistry with teammates. Then you really start to get concerned about his actual performance being affected on the field this year. Um, but it's weird because you hear all you've heard is really the Jets angle. You haven't really heard Hassan Reddick's angle. It's been, the Jets kind of like they did with JFM in 2021. We're going to have him play this out and then potentially see the Connor Hughes report. I know they said that they would let him play it out, see him first, and then potentially get a contract extension done during the season, similar to what they did to JFM in 2021. Or at least incentives turn non-guaranteed into guaranteed money and then pump up the contract with incentives. But obviously, I think a lot of this, why JFM or not JFM, why Hassan Reddick's in this situation, I think some of it has to do with the JFM trade. I think once he saw him get dealt, I think he realizes a little bit that his role is going to be a lot greater on this team. And I think part of it could be that. Some of it could be that. And again, we
And
haven't heard the.
not to cut
Go
you
ahead.
off, but like, if I'm Joe Douglas and something clearly, like you said, whether it was JFM or something else,
Mhm.
something clearly changed along the way from when they made the trade until now. Like, I'm not negotiating like that. If you gave me your word that like you were
Yeah.
going to be fine, you were going to be there for mini camp, you'd be there in training camp as we negotiated, and now you haven't even been in contact with the head coach, you don't know the playbook, you don't know anything. Like, I'm not negotiating like that.
Yeah. No, yeah, 100%. And that's where it's strange. And I think it's all around just a very weird situation because you even see with the Giants, right? They went out and traded for Brian Burns before the trade even got done. They they already had a contract in place for him. This is so rare to see a guy get traded in April 4 months ago and not show up to camp. And I don't really blame Hassan Reddick because I try to put myself in his shoes. I wouldn't want to play the entire year with no guaranteed money. If he gets hurt, the Jets could cut him and not going to make a dollar. So I can understand that angle. Look, it's never a good look for a player though to hold out, but you
So
could sort of understand.
how do you think it's ultimately going to get resolved? Is it just going to be a matter of turning the non-guarantees into guarantees with
Mhm.
some extra incentives, or do you think he's digging his feet in? Like, I want a full 3-4 year extension at $25 million a year, which would be on par with what the top pass rushers are making.
I kind of look at it as both sides need each other. The
Yeah.
Jets need Hassan Reddick, and Hassan Reddick needs the Jets. I don't know if you saw it earlier today, but Amari Cooper, not Antonio Cooper, Amari Cooper went out and restructured his deal. He got $5 million, I think, incentives, and then up to $20 million guaranteed or something along those lines. It's a band-aid deal for Amari Cooper, and then he'll hit free agents next year, look for a much larger contract. I think that's what it'll probably get to is I think what he wants 25 to 28 million. I think they'll try and pump up incentives, snaps, sack, make the playoffs, win a playoff game, certain amount of wins, maybe win a Super Bowl, and then try and up the guaranteed to get him around 20 million for this year, somewhere around that. And then it's a band-aid deal. Then next year he goes in for his big payday. And that's why I think both sides need this. The Jets need Hassan Reddick because if Hassan Reddick, let's say, doesn't play or this completely blows up, then their edge rusher spot has a serious hole because then you're relying on Michael Clemens being your number 2 edge rusher, and that's not going to cut it. or Will McDonald, and then Mike Clemens would be the third edge rusher, actually, and then it would probably be one of the UDFAs, Eric Watts, Braden McGregor, one of those guys is your fourth edge rusher. So you can't have that happen. And then for Hassan Reddick going into a contract year next year, he needs to have a big season. If he would to, let's say, sit out this year, his value is going to dip so low. He's not going to get that top edge rusher money he wants if he sits out. So he needs to go out there, play well this year, 12 sacks, be big late in games. So that's how I think it'll get done. I think they'll up the incentives. And I did the math earlier. He's getting fined $50,000 a day. And with the new CBA, they don't get that money back. They used to get it back. They don't get that back. So I did the math earlier today. I'm not great at math, but I did it where if he would just skip the entirety of training camp, he would lose about $2 million, I think, or he would pay $2 million total in fines if he skipped like all 40 days or not 40, but whatever, however many days of training camp. It was something like that.
Yeah, $1 million every 20 days.
Yeah, so that was, I mean, if you're Reddick, you want, I mean, losing $2 million over Band-Aid contract, I think you take the Band-Aid contract, but that's just me. But we'll see. I mean, I'm not worried.
I just like I think of those quotes from Joe Douglas like a few months ago where he was talking about the Jets' financial situation. They're up against the cap right now. Like they don't really have a whole lot of wiggle room. So I can understand if like they can maybe find a way to work something out for this year, turning the non-guarantees into guarantees, adding some incentives.
Yeah.
But looking at the next couple of years, especially with Conklin, DJ Reed, all these guys that are on one-year contracts, other guys that you're going to have to pay like Michael Carter and AVT. I don't trust giving Reddick. Like he hasn't done anything in the Jets uniform. I know what his history is. I know what he's done with the Eagles, but he's also turning 30 years old. He hasn't done anything in the Jets uniform. And you have other guys that you got to worry about taking care of before him.
Yeah. No, yeah, 100%. And look, like you said, you got Sauce coming up. You have Garrett Wilson. Then you got to figure out DJ Reed or Michael Carter. What are you going to do with one of those guys? I think Michael Carter is probably going to want – I think they're going to pay Michael Carter. I think he's going to get the highest paid slot corner in the NFL. I think he will get Kenny Moore type money, and then they'll make Sauce Gardner. They'll give him a historic contract, rightfully so. He'll be the highest paid corner in history. And then Garrett Wilson's going to want his money. And then further down the road, you figure out probably more 2026 what you do with Brees and Jermaine Johnson. And the running back market, that's a whole other beast because these days the running back market is such a weird spot. So I don't know how that'll play out, but I think that's more 2 years from now. Or 2026, which who even
knows where his
team is.
The fifth-year option because he was a second-round draft pick with Brees.
Yeah. That is true. But, I mean, who even knows where we are 2 years from now? Ideally, you win a Super Bowl. And that's the whole thing is the Jets, you know, Hassan Reddick. And
winning solves everything.
Yeah, and I love Bryce Huff. But when you really look at the window, Hassan Reddick fits the window more than Bryce Huff, I think, personally. Hassan Reddick right now is better than Bryce Huff. I mean, Reddick the last 4 years has had the fourth most sacks in the NFL. And this is also a guy that is reliable in terms of staying on the field. I think he's played 114 of a possible 115 games in his career. He's missed one game. So he's durable.
I agree with you as long as he's in the right state of mind. If he's on this one-year contract and he's not happy, like that's where you start worrying about nicks and bruises and he's sitting out a couple of weeks just because he doesn't want to hurt himself on a future contract. Like that's where I really start to worry a little bit.
Yeah, and that's a good point. If he's all in committed, especially if what the Jets are reporting is true, where he's all of a sudden changed his mind, where money's the first thing on his mind. But I still find it hard to believe, though, that the Jets, and I don't know the exact details in Philly. He held out of minicamp last year in Philly. It's been going on for 2 years. And even Howie Roseman and Douglas have a good relationship from Douglas's time in Philly. Like, I find it hard to believe that the Jets just didn't expect this. Like, he was going to come to the Jets and all of a sudden, oh, I'm great. I'm with the Jets. I'm with this great franchise. That's the complete opposite. Really.
And that's the only reason. That's the only reason I was defending the Jets in the video I did earlier. Like, it's hard to imagine as many things as they screw up. It's hard to imagine that they would agree to this deal for a conditional third-round pick, which could become a second, if this guy wasn't actually going to be here. Like that's not like a sixth-round draft pick. Like he's making significant money on the cap right now, and you gave up a pretty significant draft pick to bring him in here for 1 year. Like you got to have some kind of assurances that he was going to be on the field, some kind of verbal agreement, handshake, something. So
well, that's what it seemed like they had, and now they don't have it. It's a very weird situation. And like I said, you get something done, Band-Aid contract, he fits the window, and I mean, this roster on paper is as good as it gets, as good as we've seen.
Yep.
But
Aside from Reddick,
we'll
any other roster battles that you're looking forward to?
Um, I'm looking forward to a couple of them. I don't think there's a ton of starting roster battles to look at, and I think that just is a credit to Douglas and this roster. There's a lot of kind of the starting positions are all pretty much set. I am interested, not necessarily a roster battle, but I am interested to see how the safety position develops during camp. If they feel, hey, Justin Simmons is still out there, maybe the safety position isn't looking great in the joint practice, to go out and then make a move.
No faith in
Um,
Ashton Davis?
yeah, I mean, I am excited. I actually listed Tony Adams as one of my breakout candidates because I do like Tony Adams, but we'll see. I like Ashton Davis, but I would still probably like to see maybe another year out of him. Um, I find it hard to believe he's still on the team, but here we are. He got an extension, so good for him.
Yeah, really with starting spots. I mean, you're
Mhm.
looking at safety, possibly
Yeah,
interior D line next to Quinton Williams, whether that's
yeah,
Kinlaw, Michael Clemens, Lecky Fodu, and then possibly even a slot receiver as well, whether it's going to be
totally.
Corley or Gibson.
Yeah, that was another one I wanted to mention. I think we'll see what happens. I think a lot of it depends on Aaron Rodgers and what he feels. And I think if he builds up good chemistry with Corley, I think they'll roll with Corley. But I could see the Jets kind of easing Corley into things early in the season and having Gibson start. And Gibson will play a much bigger role in that case. So that'll be something to watch for. And then two, I know the Jets like him on special teams, but I don't personally necessarily see Michael Clemens' roster spot as safe as maybe they see it. And they signed Tack McKinley coming out of minicamp, so they saw something out of him. They gave him a training camp invite. They brought in Eric Watts, UDFA, Braden McGregor, UDFA. So they've got a couple of those UDFAs and Tack McKinley, kind of a reclamation project at the edge position that could compete for that final edge spot. And then two, I look at the running back room. I think it's pretty clear Braylon Allen are going to be your 1-2 punch. Zay Davis is going to be your third guy, third running back, special teams type player. But then fourth, do the Jets want to carry a veteran in Tariq Cohen? I know he hasn't played since 2020, but a special teams guy, do they want to carry him as their veteran or do they want to roll with Izzy? I think Izzy's roster spot is hanging on by about as thin as a thread as you could say because
I didn't get the impression at all last year that he was in the
no,
favor of Saleh or Hackett
yeah,
or anybody. Yeah.
100%. And you can't, the Salah cannot stand up there with a straight face and tell me they like Izzy when they drafted 2 running backs and signed Tariq Cohen. You brought in 3 running backs. You cannot sit here and tell me with a straight face that you believe in Izzy. Otherwise, maybe you draft Braylon Allen and that's it. You definitely don't bring in Isaiah Davis. You definitely don't bring in Tariq Cohen. But those are the main ones. And then it's Andrew the Summer of Peasley. We'll see some Andrew Peasley out at
Sure, we see it
somebody's got
yeah.
to play
Jordan
these
Travis
preseason
starting
games.
on the non-football injury list.
Yeah.
I don't
am
know if you had the
interested.
game on in the background. Mets had first and second. They hit a double off the wall, and somehow nobody scored.
Really, I had it on upstairs and I came down, but it's. What are your thoughts on the Mets? Are you? Do you believe? Do you think they're as
I'm
good?
torn. I'm torn. It feels like there's good, like all the OMG stuff and the grimace. Like I like stuff like that, but I look at the core of this team. I don't see them winning a World Series, and I like some of the prospects that they have right now, Acuna, Gilbert, and some of these guys.
Yeah.
I'm not dealing my top 10 prospects to go all in on this team. I'm just not. If you want to get a couple of relievers, for some guys that are outside of your top 10, I'm fine with that. But I'm not going all in on this core, which is probably not a popular opinion amongst Met fans, but
yeah, it's weird. I don't know if they're as bad as they were early in the season, but I don't feel like they're as good as they are now. I feel like they're kind of somewhere in between.
Yeah,
But
I don't think they have the
it'll be an
pitching.
interesting. Yeah, you make a point. They're kind of relying on Senga, it seems. But I have one question for you. How what are your thoughts on Michael Clemens or not Michael Clemens, Mike Williams? You think he's follow along the same path as? Are you? I guess what are your expectations for early this season? You think he's going to be a factor early on, or you think it's going to be one of these comes out like Brees did on Monday night and just looks like he never tore his ACL?
I hope so. I mean, I know he's starting on the PUP list, so I mean, let's see him out there in training camp first. I would assume he's going to be ready to go week 1. That's what they've been reporting. But that could also be an opportunity. I hate to even say it because I don't even know if he's going to make the roster. But Alan Lazard, like at least on run plays, he's a bigger guy. He could block a little bit. Maybe that's an opportunity for him the first couple of weeks to get a look. But they're going to need Williams though. They're going to need him out there.
Yeah, 100%. I think you got Garrett Wilson, your do-it-all guy. Then you've kind of got your finesse, or you have your not finesse. Garrett Wilson, kind of your finesse do-it-all guy. And then you have your speed guys underneath, Malachi Corley, Xavier Gipson, sort of your Randall Cobb, Aaron Rodgers guys during his time in Green Bay. And then
I
you've
like
got
how
your
they all
big
complement
one-on-one.
each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
Williams can go over the top. Corley can kind of do a little bit of everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well,
looking
good
forward to
talking
it.
to you, man.
Yeah.
Glad you're doing well. Hopefully, I'll see you on Thursday.
Yep. Same to you.
All right, man. Be
Looking
good.
forward to it. All right. You too.
Later. All right, I'll catch up on the chat real quick, and then we'll bring some more people on. The silver lining with Reddick is if he ends up being too stubborn to resign, he's a trade piece along with picks to bring in Devontae Adams or Ayuk. I mean, what kind of trade value would Reddick have, like, even at this point? You know, like, most teams are pretty set with their rosters. I don't know how many teams have a ton of cap space left. I don't think you're going to be able to get anything significant if you do try to trade him. And apparently all the reports today are that a trade and cutting him, like, that's completely off the table from the Jets. Like, they're going to wait this thing out. So I really don't know how it gets resolved. It seems like Reddick is dead set on getting what his value is, whereas the Jets feel like, you know, we made a trade. You said you were fine playing out your contract, and now you're not. Something changed. I don't know how this gets resolved. Oh, grand slam goes foul. Awesome. At least the Mets tied it up. I think somebody got hit by a pitch. Trying not to focus too much on that. Two shows in 2 hours is also cool. Yeah, Tyson's always cranking out content. Jets need Reddick. Let's get it done. I mean, both sides really need each other. I mean, Reddick's going to be 30 years old. Like, if he doesn't have a good year, if he sits out, like Bubs was saying before, I mean, that's going to drastically impact his market next year. So I think both sides really do need each other. Preach PT, dude is moving the goalpost and Tyson is defending him. It's hard to know exactly what to believe. Like, I was completely anti-Reddick early in the morning, and then once I heard the story that he rejected whatever the Jets offer was for the non-guarantees to guarantees, well, that's where, as a GM, you should say, all right, red flag, this guy's still unhappy with this contract. Something needs to be done before we finalize this deal. So I think both sides deserve some blame, but I'm still definitely in the camp of blaming Reddick a little bit more. If he said he was okay with this contract and then he went back on that, that's just not a good look. PT, you had a whole offseason to update your background. It's still disabled. You could do better than a blanket held up by thumbtacks. Well, on the short videos that I'm doing, if you guys noticed, I turned the camera around. I have my little mantle up there. I got my Jets helmet. I got my autographed Curtis Martin football, all my Mets figurines. But yeah, while I'm doing shows, I usually go this way so I can keep an eye on the TV, especially with the Mets playing right now. So I will do my best to update things going forward. Need a new towel with the current logo. That's actually something I should try to invest in. Much love, though, bro. Appreciate you, man. JETS, Jets. Reddick shaking my head. A lot of people agreeing with Bubs. Yes, I will post the link again. I will probably be on here until the end of the game, maybe a little bit later. I'm sweating my balls off right now, though. I might have to turn the AC on. Oh, is that what it was? Soto deked them? Is that why they didn't score? Yeah, Mets are a 500 team. I'm not going to argue that. Background is iconic. Let's keep it. All right, let's go back to some calls. Promised Jomo I was going to get him on. So, Jomo, what's up, man? How are you? You're muted.
There we go. We're good. We're good. Excited,
What's up,
man.
How you been?
Excited for the season, chilling. You know, it's football season. Happy season. Here we go.
Let's go,
Already,
man.
it wouldn't be a Jet season without some drama, though. You know,
Oh, of course.
there's always something going into training camp.
Always.
Whether it's Fitzpatrick, you know, whether it's Hard Knocks, it's
They
always
always give
fucking
us something to
something.
talk about.
It's always something. But you know, I'm kind of worried about this Reddick situation. Honestly, I don't know how it's gonna go. I feel like I read Connor Hughes said something like, I guess we already offered him to fully guarantee his deal, something like that. Is that right?
Apparently before the trade was finalized, that was the report that I read also, that before the trade was finalized, they offered him some extra incentives. They were going to convert some of the non-guaranteed money into guarantees, and he turned that down. But I guess there was a thought that they were close enough where he was going to be at minicamp, he was going to be at training camp, and they would continue to negotiate while he was in the building. And then somewhere along the line, something changed, and he just didn't show up. He hasn't been in contact with Saleh at all. And the Jets said they're not going to negotiate unless he's in the building. And he's not going to show up unless he has a new contract. So who blinks first?
It's fucking, you know, it's one of those situations where you just got to sit it out. sit out and wait. I don't know. As the Jets, I mean, Woody Johnson, this is an all-in year. You got to fucking pay the guy, Pull it out of the pocket. He upped the season ticket prices.
Don't even get me
Fucking-
started.
He needs
Did
to
you see my
fork it
ticket
up, man.
package that I posted?
Yeah,
see the
dude.
I'm seeing Raider fans posting this giant treasure chest with fucking whoever it is talking in the background. I'm like, Jesus Christ! Like we can't get
Oh,
something
man.
like that. I got other people sending me ticket packages from the Vegas Golden Knights that destroyed the shit the Jets are sending out. I'm like, can we get something? An
It's crazy,
autograph
man.
helmet, like something.
Yeah, something, anything. I mean, they could literally do anything that would be more creative than what they do on a year in, year out basis.
Coupons.
It's nuts.
We get coupons.
But hey, at least we got the jerseys, man. At least we got the jerseys.
That's true. That's true. I am excited
But
for jerseys.
shit, dude, that's about it, man. Like, I'm excited for the season. I don't know what the fuck's going on with this Reddick situation. There's a couple positions where you still, I'm kind of worried about him, honestly. I feel like I might be the only one, but middle linebacker, am I the only one that thinks we're a little thin there?
Wait, you don't like Mosley?
Oh, I love Mosley and Williams, but you're one injury away from putting Sherwood out there. Who
got Chaz Surratt, Zaire Barnes.
Oh yeah,
they were actually pretty impressive last year at training camp. Pretty athletic, sideline to sideline guys. I think solid depth, but hopefully they're not
nice,
needed.
man.
Mosley's usually pretty reliable, so I'm not too worried.
I don't know. Is Quan Alexander still out there? I mean, that's a guy who
bring him back again. I think he is actually. Yeah.
Dude, that guy has so much energy. I mean, he makes one play on the field. It's just the whole defense just gets amped up. He's one of those guys that's just good for the locker room too.
Yeah, Sherwood was good though last year.
Yeah, he was good in the moments that he stepped in, but we've been, knock on wood. I'm not even gonna go there. I'm not doing that shit. I ain't doing it. Last year was bad enough. I ain't jinxing nothing. I'm not even gonna finish what I was gonna say. But, dude, Mike Williams, that's a big story. Honestly, I think that's huge. If he could come in and be healthy first couple weeks, I mean, dude, sky's the limit. He would be the absolute perfect number 2. And the whole Devontae Adams thing, personally, I don't think it's happening. I don't think they're gonna let go of any more capital.
Not before the season, I don't think, but trade deadline.
Definitely not before the season. Yeah, if it's like a trade deadline type of thing, they're obviously going to be talking about it because the Raiders. I mean, what are the Raiders going to do this year? But do I think it's going to happen? Ultimately, no. I mean, we got a lot of guys to pay, and that's another thing. That's another issue with this Reddick thing. Like, how are we going to give him a multi-year deal if that's really what he wants? We can't. We just can't.
I don't think they can.
And with Adams, doesn't he have 2 more years on his deal?
Yeah, Devontae Adams, and both
This
years
year,
I think they're $36 million cap hits too. Yeah,
I mean that's crazy.
Yeah.
We got a lot of guys that are going to want an early raise.
Yep.
I don't think we're going to get the luxury of waiting another year for some of these guys. If Sauce has another All-Pro year and he gets those interception numbers up, I'm sure he's going to want a payday because he's already being talked about as the number 1 guy. And I think Surtain, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, I think he got his payday and his going into his 4th year. So I think he's a guy that's going to get paid. I think Garrett, if Rodgers stays healthy this year, he's going to want to get paid. The only guys realistically that you're going to have another year to wait on is Jermaine, unless he fucking breaks out. But I don't see him having a 20-sack season. I think he's going to play well, but I think you get him on his 5th year. And Brees, I mean, we only got another year of Brees after this year.
I know.
That's huge.
Well, you got the franchise tag, which I'm sure they'll do with him.
He's a guy, and at least I can't remember the last time we used the tag, but he's a guy that's going to get the franchise tag for sure.
Yep.
Absolutely. But yeah, I don't see these big contracts.
Even ABT also, because like even if he's healthy for
that's
a year,
completely forgot,
they
dude.
probably want to see him back-to-back years healthy before they give him a contract. They already picked up his 5th-year option.
Yeah, he'll probably get tagged this offseason, and the next offseason it'll be Brees. But I mean, we got to worry about the guys in house. I feel. You brought Mike Williams in. That's a nice piece. He's only getting paid $11 million. He's towards the end of his career. If you could keep him for another couple years, that'd be great. But the Reddick thing, I don't see it. I think he's just a 1-year rental. I don't even think we would extend him mid-season.
I don't think so either.
I
think that was part of the whole plan,
over
bringing
20
him
mil.
in. Like they drafted McDonald, they wanted a full year to look at him, and if he ultimately pans out, you just let Reddick walk. I think that was part of that whole plan. If they wanted somebody long term, that's where I was hoping Bryce Huff would have been here. But they missed
And
the boat
that's
on
another
that
thing. If they weren't going to pay Bryce Huff the extra $3 million, like Bubs was saying, I don't think they're going to give it to Reddick. There's no chance.
No.
The only way that you're going to get him in camp is if you guarantee his deal, and I think that's it.
Yep.
And honestly, like you were saying, you want a guy to be fully motivated when it comes to winning a Super Bowl. You want him to be fully motivated when it comes to earning his next contract. You guarantee his money this year. He comes, he's going to play his ass off, and it's going to help you on this run. But if you do the thing where you only guarantee some of it, like you said, he's going to sit out. He's not going to want to get hurt. He's going to do the same bullshit that every other fucking high-paid guy that comes to the Jets does. They're going to start sitting games, and they're going to start fucking off. So I think what motivates guys nowadays is giving them the money, letting them earn their next contract. I mean, look at Quinnen. Quinnen had the season of his life on a year where his money was guaranteed and he didn't have a contract coming up. Had the season of his life, and he got paid, well deserved.
And he went about it the right way, and that's why, again, like I don't see Joe Douglas caving here. Like for somebody that hasn't even put the uniform on, hasn't done anything in this building yet, like I can't see him doing that when you have other guys that are on the last year of their contract that are at training camp right now, Conklin, DJ Reed, all these guys, like they deserve it probably more than Reddick as far as what's gone on in the Jets building. So I don't know.
It'll be interesting, man. But fuck, I'm ready for the season. I'll be there at the opener, the home opener.
I'll see you then.
Hell yeah. Have a great time in San Francisco, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Be awesome. Wait. That game's going to be wild.
It's going to be nuts. Can't wait, bro.
All right, brother. Good talking to you.
Man. Good talking to you.
Take care.
Yep. All right, going back to the chat real quick. Want to buy a Breece Hall jersey. I'm worried that once I do, he'll be off the team. Yeah, don't buy any jerseys, man. Wait a little bit. Wait till somebody signs an extension and then get it after that. But I'm still cursed with jerseys. I bought like 2 Darnold jerseys, Jamal Adams. Like every jersey I buy, it's just terrible investment. So I should have drafted Christian Darrisaw over AVT. I still like AVT. Let's see him healthy. Let's see him back at his natural position now at guard. Only the Jets, am I right, PT? Only the Jets. All right, so we got Steve here. It's been waiting a little bit, so let's get Steve on real quick.
Hey, what's up, Kevin?
What's up, man? How you been?
Hey, what's going on, man? What's going on? How you been?
Hello, I'm chilling, man. Doing well.
Chat. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's had a great summer. Jets training camp is back. Got my Jets
training camp is back, man. How's your summer going?
Ready? Let's go.
Next Monday, me and Tyson will be back. Monday at 8, so tune in for that. How's your summer going, man?
Yeah, I know. The summer's been going good. How have you been, man? Everything is okay?
Pretty good. Working out, gearing up for camp, coaching a little bit. Trying to stay busy.
That's good. So I guess the first concern is about going into this season is, are we going to get a grass field on MetLife?
I don't think that's happening this year, unfortunately.
Well, no, I mean, here was the thing, because I know in the offseason, Woody Johnson was talking about it, about getting, potential grass. But it's not only just up to Woody, unfortunately. It's up to the Giants owner as well. Yep. And the thing is, Woody seems to be on the direction of putting a grass field on. But the thing is, I don't know about the Giants owner. That's the thing.
And that's what I don't understand, because it seems like the general consensus amongst almost all players is that they prefer playing on grass. So I don't know why I haven't read
let's look at all the. I mean, if you look back on it, look at all the people that have gotten hurt on turf on that turf field. Nick Bosa and
Yep.
no, not Nick Bosa. What's his name? Oh wait, did I say no?
No,
Nick
Bosa.
Bosa.
Yeah.
Nick
Yeah,
Bosa.
Bosa,
I'm
man.
sorry.
I
Solomon
think the
Thomas.
Niners lost like 3 players in that one game.
Yeah, I'll never forget that game. That game was a fucking disaster.
Yep.
That game was a disaster. Eddie Jackson was another example. The guy on the Dolphins last year on the Black Friday game, Sterling Shepard on Monday night against the Cowboys. It's just that nobody doesn't care. It's just that I just wish MetLife would have the grass. I mean, look at what happened with Aaron Rodgers last year.
No, well said. Players prefer it. I
really wish they would do a grass. But the thing is, though, about the Hassan, listen, I think Hassan Reddick is going to show up to camp, as soon as possible, even though I know he
when
was
is that?
Contract extension. The thing is that he's going to get fined each day. He's going to get a fine each day, and he realizes, oh shit, I don't want to keep on getting these fines. And as Bubba said, it would be like close to $2 million he would have to pay. I'm like, I would not pay.
Which is peanuts compared to what he's looking for at like $25 million a year over 3 to 4 years. Mm-hmm. So if he's already dug his feet in now, where he missed mini camp, he got fined for that. Now he missed the first day of training camp. I'm sure he's not going to be there tomorrow. Like, this isn't something he's just doing for a day or two.
But the thing is, what's crazy is that it's just everything in this world, in this NFL today, it's just all about money. All about money. That's what it's all about.
That's the NFL, man. It's a business.
Yeah, but I guess
who do you blame for this situation kind of escalating to where it is? I mean, do you blame Reddick or do you blame the Jets for not doing more due diligence before making the trade?
It's kind of a little bit on both. Like, I'm gonna say it's kind of a little bit on both because Reddick is being kind of a little selfish, and even though the Jets did offer him a deal, but the thing is, I do kind of agree with what Bub said. Or like what you said earlier on the show. The thing is that I would have gotten it before I made this trade done. Before I made this trade done, I would want to get an extension. And the thing is, and it's just that it still bothers me about the loss of Bryce Huff, unfortunately, because he was a 10-11 sack guy last year. And the thing is now, obviously, if now we got Hassan Reddick, come back. I mean, we'll see what he brings to the table once he gets his contract signed.
What kind of roster battles are you looking forward to watching?
Oh man, well, I'm really looking forward to seeing like what happens at the safety position this year because the safety position, it's the only really concerned position I have on the defense because the thing is that I really, really want to see who battles it out at safety this year because obviously now with Whitehead gone, and I mean now is it a battle? Is it Tony Adams and Ashton Davis? Battling it out. I think it's going to be a really interesting battle. I'm looking forward to that safety position.
I might be a little bit more concerned about the defensive line, honestly. I mean, even putting all the Reddick stuff aside, you still lost JFM, who was very versatile. You can move him inside, outside. You lost Quentin Jefferson, who was a 6-sack guy. You lost Al Woods, who I know only played 6 games, but good run stuffer. You're ultimately replacing, 3-4 guys on that defensive line, assuming Reddick is eventually going to show up.
Yeah, no. Yeah, but I mean, look, it's definitely going to be looking forward to see, like what that position does. But hey, listen, we're approaching camp. The one thing is, I'm looking forward to this year is, I can't wait to see all your videos. Like when you post it on Twitter and stuff. I always look forward every year when you go to camp and you watch and you post the videos about certain plays of what happens. I mean.
The highlight of my summer getting out to camp posting videos.
Yeah, listen, I'll tell you something. Last year, I went to 2 games last year, and they were both in the rain. I went to the game against the Giants last year and the game against the Texans last year, and I just hope that this year, whatever game I go to, I don't get rained on this year.
You going to training camp at all?
Do you come to camp, man? Trying to. Tell Dave I'm trying to. I'm the thing is that I've been keeping busy with myself over the summer.
Gotcha. Well, if you want to come Thursday, let me know. I got an extra ticket. So.
All right, man. I'll think about it.
All right, man. Be good.
Hey, listen. Good talking to you. Okay.
Good talking to you, bro. Be well.
All right, man.
All right. Always good hearing from Steve. Jose, I was going to ask about. I didn't know what the context of this was, and I didn't even want to open that can of worms. Can you say no? I don't even know what that means. I didn't even want to go down that path. Oh, I missed the chat. You guys are ruthless on here. Can we get at least one reunion show? Reunion show with who? Me and Tyson will be on next Monday. I know Tyrone's always driving around, but we'll definitely try to get him back on at some point. All right. I have not talked to Liam in a little bit, so let's get Liam on, and then I will hop on with Random Man and V Man. So, Liam, what's up, man? How are you?
Yo, what's going on, man? Good to talk to you.
It's been a minute. How you been?
Good, man. Right now, I'm actually dealing with COVID, so
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, just isolating myself in my room. So got a new laptop and setting it up and everything. So I figured, why not test it out here?
There you go.
Place,
New podcast too, huh?
Yeah, Jets Afterburners, me and Dan from Turbulence. So that's coming back real soon too. But
very cool.
I just couldn't do the whole when there's no Jet news going. I couldn't talk about Hassan Reddick for 40 days. I just couldn't do it.
I hear you.
Yeah. And it's crazy that training camp is now started and it's still a problem. What is it? 14 and a half, I think he's due to make this year on the current contract he's with now.
I think it's like 14.25 and then like another 500,000 in incentives.
Something like that. Yeah. So we'll say like 16, just, I would give him like 16, 17, and then I would make that guaranteed and then just incentive based the rest of it. You make
it seems like they tried to offer something along those lines before the deal was made and he turned it down. So, I mean, how much is he looking for? Or is he dead set on getting that 3 to 4 year extension?
I don't know, man. What is he, 30 years old too? It's like I don't really necessarily want him for 3 to 4 years. I mean, nothing against him personally, but this kind of makes me, in a way, it sounds very unpopular, but I almost just wish that we kept Puff at this point. I get it. Hassan Reddick is a much better player, but what good is it if he's not here? I mean, he's not going to sit out all season. He's losing like 50 grand a day or whatever it is, so he's going to show up eventually, but same thing, he could show up and then, oh, my leg hurts, my back hurts. You can't prove that your back doesn't hurt. Yep. So you just don't want to become more of a headache than what it's worth at this point. This is supposed to be a going all in year, no distractions. Thank God that we're not on Hard Knocks this year, because if that was the story, it'd be the same thing going back with Revis. It would just be like one headache after another. And in a way, I kind of do wish that we kept the homegrown talent.
Me too. I think doing that also sends a good message to the locker room. Like, you do the right thing, you go about things the right way, we're going to take care of you. And ultimately, a guy that did that, performed, and he was playing like 60% of snaps and still put up those numbers. So it was just very odd that they didn't make more of an effort. And like I keep saying, I think they could have gotten it done maybe 2 years ago. Last year, I think he was already set on just hitting the market. I think he feels like the Jets undervalued him. They didn't play him enough. I think he was just set on hitting the market and going somewhere where he can maximize his opportunities a little better.
Yeah, I think the same thing. And then look back to last preseason. He was playing in the fourth quarter of preseason games. And so that just shows you how much they really thought of him. Yep. I don't think that they realized that he was as good as he was until probably about like middle of the season. It was just weird that they didn't even try to keep him. But it is good that like Joe Douglas, he is very firm. He's not going to, he'll have a dead set number and he's really not going to move off. Maybe like $1 million here, $1 million there. But I kind of like that about him in a way. You're not just going to come around and push him around. Yep. And maybe if he was at OTAs and if he did show up to training camp, they'd be a little bit more urgent to get something done. Be like, all right, we had a handshake agreement. You didn't actually live up to it, but at least you're here. Even though that what you're saying now is not what you said back in April, whenever the trade came along. But that's probably what I would have thought. I would have thought if he had showed up maybe every day, that would show something that, yeah, I do want to be here. Could we lock something up? Maybe we have him for 2 years. I don't know.
And that's what it seems like the agreement was. Like before they made the trade, it seemed like he was dead set on being there for minicamp, being there for training camp as the negotiations happened. And the Jets are saying, we're not going to negotiate until you're actually in the building. And I just don't know who's going to give here.
So do you think it's a situation where he's just going to sit out until he really can't afford it anymore, and then he's just going to eventually show up without a deal?
I think at some point, probably mid to late August, he shows up. But then even at that point, like what kind of football shape is he in? Like how effective is he going to be? Like that's where you just worry about him kind of throwing in the towel, but still being there to earn his contract, for the however much he's still going to be owed after all the fines. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how invested he's going to be without any long-term security. That's what I worry about.
That's what it is. Not only just the football shape, but how much is he actually going to care?
Yep.
You know, is he going to start taking plays off? Is it? I just don't want this to become a year-long situation. I don't want this to become a much bigger problem than it has to be. And when it comes to money, it's not just like a little issue, you know. And it seems like the two parties are very far off from where they want to be. So I don't think it's like a minor issue. I just don't want this to become like a big public drama thing where Rich Cimini's tweeting about it every day and it's all over ESPN. The Jets don't play their own, just how it is,
Yep.
the typical media game.
Well, the ESPN's always going to find a way to make the Jets a story,
of course.
or whatever
yes.
else. So.
Aaron Rodgers not showing up for 2 days. You would have thought it was World War III.
I like his troll job today though with the Egypt cat shirt. Well done. Well played.
Yeah, that was very good. So I'm looking. I'm trying to make it out to training camp this year. I've never been. I've been to the Hofstra ones when I was a kid, but I've never been to the facility. It's just hard because they'll do it on like a Tuesday afternoon or something like that.
How far away are you?
I'm on Long Island.
Okay.
So it's about 2.5, I think it is.
All right.
So
well, if you want to come out Thursday, I got an extra ticket still, so let me know about that.
I don't want to get anybody sick. I'm still dealing with the whole COVID thing.
That's right. I forget what the 2 dates are after the Saturday practice. I think like August 3rd and maybe the 7th. Those are the next 2 ones that I already got some tickets, so I'll keep you in mind for those.
Do you know if they're doing the scrimmage again at the stadium, or have you heard anything about that?
I don't think so. I haven't seen anything posted about it. I know they're doing like the joint practices with the Giants and everything, but I haven't seen anything at the stadium. I don't think they did that last year either.
Yeah, I was really excited. I'm like, oh, Rodgers there. Maybe I'll meet him and this and that. And then he came to the team and they going away. I had a really good time doing that though. I met you there a couple times. I really enjoyed those. That was a real fun time.
It's like everything we enjoy, they find a way to slowly take away.
Yeah, but they'll give you coupons. Don't worry.
Get your wine, get your CJ Mosley suit. Yep.
Yeah. So,
all right, man.
Good talking to you.
Feel better. Hope all is well.
Thank you. All right. Yep. You too.
All right. Be good. Super chat here. Chris, bro, how are you? I must know what's going on with you and Tyson. What about Tyrone? Tyrone's just always busy, man. He drives a lot. That's what he does for work. So it's hard sometimes to get him on. But yeah, me and Tyson will be back on next Monday. I'll be at training camp Thursday and Saturday. So I'll have plenty of videos and content to post from there. So appreciate the super chat, Chris. Uncle Tyrone has been a ghost. It's been over a year since his last appearance on the show. All right, I got to reach out to him, make sure we get him on before the season starts. Excited for the reunion show. With Reddick, as long as he doesn't request another trade, I think something is going to get done, but it's probably going to go all the way down to the wire, just like Revis. I kind of think so, too, because I think that it's become very personal now for the Jets, especially if, again, like there was some kind of handshake deal that he was going to be here as the negotiations were going on. It's hard to see Joe Douglas just being like, all right, here's your extension, while other guys are at training camp playing on the last year of their contract that have been Jets. So we'll see what happens there. Do you think the Jets end up trading Reddick if no deal is reached? I mean, the reports today basically said that a trade or cutting him are completely off the table right now. And I don't even know what kind of trade value he would have. You're definitely not going to get back what you already traded. And the team that's acquiring him, they have to give him a long-term extension. And it's hard to see him having a whole lot of value, honestly. Reddick will have no trade value. Huff as a run defender wasn't a thing. I'm so over this being overlooked. I mean, how many opportunities did he really get out there as a run defender? I mean, most of the time he was brought in on third downs where he kind of knew what he was doing going after the quarterback. That's just kind of the way they did their rotation. So, but I agree, though. Reddick is definitely probably the better win now player, a little bit more complete, but still got to be here, though. We got to deal in Reddick and go get wins. Are we sure that the fines Reddick is getting can't be waived? That's everything I read today, that with the new CBA or whatever, that, yeah, these fines are locked in. They can't be waived. So I don't know where this ends. CeeDee Lamb doing the same thing as Reddick. Not read much about that. He is not going to get the payday he wants. He will be 30 next year. And that's the problem. I mean, he's asking to be paid based on what he's done over the last 4 years, which, again, is clearly deserving of top pass rusher money. But he hasn't done it here. And ultimately, you'd be paying for him, while he's 32, 33 years old, while you got a lot of young guys that you got to take care of. I don't think the timelines really mesh for the Jets to make this work. he's not worth the payday he wants. I kind of don't think so either. I'm fine this year. You want to load up, his contract this year with the guarantees and some extra incentives. I'd be fine with that just to get it over with. But even then, it would still feel a little weird depending on what the conversations were before the trade happened. So, all right, let's get back to some calls here. We got Random Man, and then we got V-Man and Jose to close it out.
Hello.
Yo. What's up?
My name's Holding Out. We got a holdout today.
Hold out, man?
Yeah. Let's see. Well, first of all, congratulations, Primetime. Your towel has now been upgraded to a retro classic logo towel from an outdated towel. We got it.
That's true.
Now,
That's true.
You don't have to replace it anymore.
That's true.
Fine.
I still want a new one, though. I got to update something.
Here, I'm always known for my props, so let's read something from the exclusive 2024 New York Jets yearbook.
There you go. Your only gift.
The
I haven't even opened it
primary
yet.
objective this offseason was fortifying the offensive line. That is a quote from Joe Douglas. Then later, the yearbook adds, hours later, Douglas dropped a finishing move in veteran acquisitions with the trade for Hassan Reddick. This guy wasn't the key piece that this team needed. He's an extra piece. This isn't the end of the world. As many people have said, this is still. I
wouldn't say he's an extra piece.
This is still okay. Here's the point.
He's a
very good player,
and you lost Quentin Jefferson. That were all very productive on that D line right now.
He's a very good player.
You don't have Reddick out there, and you don't even know what you're getting in McDonald. That's a lot of questions on your D line.
I mean, you gotta trust your investments, I guess. If you're Joe Douglas, that's the whole reason they let go of what's his face of Huff, because they trusted McDonald. Now, where I was getting at was that you want him here. Obviously, he helps this team tremendously. But this is still a top 5 defense without him. I'd say that's fair. It's at least up there. You want him here. I'm not saying
honestly, this is probably a cold take, but even with him, I'm not sure if this is a top 5 defense this year.
I don't know.
I keep saying this, but I feel like this defense is going to get tested a lot more this year because the offense legitimately could be a strength of the team this year. With the offensive line, with Rodgers coming back, if Mike Williams is healthy, they've got weapons all over the place. Like that offense should be putting up points. And I just feel like the approach from opposing offenses is going to be completely different than what Sal has seen the last couple of years, where teams know, like, we get to 20, like, that's it. We're good. Zach Wilson's not touching that number. Like, that's going to change now. The teams are going to be airing it out a little bit more, putting a little bit more pressure on the defense. So I think it's going to be a different game plan.
Yeah, I mean, the whole point that I was trying to get at was that the offense is kind of the key here in that, we need the offense to get started. If the offense doesn't get started, this whole thing is a failure. I mean, it's not going to go anywhere. We know what we have to do based on last year. We know that this defense can hold its own. Sure, we lost a piece or two, but it's mostly a solid unit. And that we need to be focusing on the offense, and that Reddick, he can do his little childish things in the corner and with his contract. And I want $5.2 million, not 5.1. But, he could do whatever he wants. That's fine. But I'm just going into camp. I was at first very negative about this. And, fans have the right to be. You don't want to see a player go back on his word. Not that, people's words mean a lot in the sports business. But, yeah, the main goal that I'm focusing on is just the same concerns that we've had of just, can Rodgers stay healthy? Can the line protect them? I'd say Brees and Wilson are still the same. It's just, can the other piece receivers step up? And that's kind of the main thing.
Aside from the roster, what's your confidence level in the coaching staff this year?
Well, here's the other problem. And we were talking about how, like, oh, JD, like, what is he doing here? And it's kind of like, I watched Tyson's, one of his videos from earlier this week. He said, like, you have to, what are you doing here if you're not going into the season confident? Like, you have to go into the season confident. You have to be positive. But it's at the same time, I agree with that. But at the same time, it's like, how can we be positive when every facet of this team in management is questioned, except for maybe the defensive coordinator?
That's
everyone. Yeah. I guess Joe Douglas, maybe 50% of the time we trust him. That's about it.
you could also say in Salah's defense that he's never really had a quarterback during his time here either.
Okay, but that doesn't question half the crap we see, and we're making fun of them. Clock management. We need numbers, guys. I mean, hack it.
Look at the Giants game. Look at the clock management in that one.
Oh, Giants game. Yeah.
Eagles game. Clock management.
When it comes to us needing to lose, we're the best team. But I mean, it's just, how can we go in? I don't want to make this a negative call, because I was gonna make this a negative call, and then we turned this around to a positive. But just like, going in, we just have to kind of trust the talent, the high-end talent, as another sports YouTuber would say. And that's the main thing, is just trying to, them just trying not to mess it up as much as possible. But at the same time, like, we've seen glimpses of what the staff can do. We've seen Saleh beat the Bills. We've seen him beat the Bills more than once with almost nothing. So it's, it's not going to
fall away from beating the Chiefs also. I mean,
yeah, we were right there with the Chiefs game. I mean, we pretty much, that's too painful to dig up, but the Chiefs game, we were right there.
Yeah.
You just have to go in just seeing if the players can kind of come together around the staff. And that's not an easy thing to, especially with all the problems with the staff, and I'm sure the players have their own gripes with them, especially how they handled Zach Wilson. Yeah, bring back Carl Lawson. They did him dirty. What are we doing?
I think he's still a free agent, right? He hasn't signed with anybody yet, right?
He's so dedicated to this team that he's refusing to sign with anyone else. That's what I heard.
They might have to bring him back. Reddick doesn't show up soon. Might be the only option.
I don't want to think about that. Oh, we're already circling back to the old favorites.
Yes, we are. You coming out to the camp at all?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going at least either Thursday or Saturday. If the weather holds up, I'll I think Saturday is kind of like the back together weekend. That's the big one. Thursday, we'll see what we can do. I'm definitely going to be.
I'll be there, so definitely hit me up.
Yeah, and I guess before I head off, I will plug the unofficial Let's Talk Jets Discord. If anyone's interested, let me know. We're chatting. We're having wild discussions talking Jets right now. And
I'll definitely start to hop on there a little bit more.
We just gotta get some people going, but we'll see. If no one wants it, we'll retire it like the old new uniforms.
I think that's gonna start getting popular once there's like games to discuss. Like after the game, people will probably want to hop on there and like talk about it. But right now, it's still relatively quiet.
I'm seeing some interest in the comments right now. We'll get back to it. I'll see what I can do. I'll plug it. But yeah, have a good night, guys. Yeah. Hopefully we don't suck like the Dustbuster. And go Jets.
Go Jets, man. Have a good night.
You too.
All right, be good. All right. Seeing the Yankees just scored a run. Fly ball to the warning track there. So we got 3-2 Mets in the bottom of the sixth. All right. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Elmo. I think this is definitely a top 10 defense. I don't know if it's going to be top 5. A lot of pieces that you're replacing: Whitehead, Huff, JFM. And I just think it's going to be a completely different approach from opposing offenses. They're going to get tested a lot more this year. So see what happens there. Special teams game will be elite. Replacing Justin Hardy, though. It's the only thing you got to worry about. You still got Irv Charles. Isaiah Oliver is supposed to be pretty good there. Greg the Leg. Defense is very good. I agree. Last year's teams didn't have to play open offense with Wilson at quarterback, and that's what's going to change this year. If the offense is going as they should, offensive line's healthy, Rodgers is doing his thing, you're going to put up points. That's going to completely change how your defense gets attacked. Good interview. Reddick is going to lose in the end. Feel bad for him. I mean, it feels like at some point he just has to show up. It's hard to imagine that he would just give up all, $14+ million that he's supposed to get owed this year. I just don't know. Like, the Jets obviously want him there as quickly as possible, but beyond just the non-guarantees to guarantees, I can't see them investing in a long-term deal with him yet. I don't think that makes sense for where the roster is right now and who else needs to get paid too. All right, a few more here, and then we'll finish up with 2 more calls. I'm in the same boat. You're right, NJ Lauren. These guys are a problem. This guy looks like he's going to start. You guys are ruthless in the chat. I'm just catching up on some of these. Yeah, Random Man was a little negative tonight. I'll give him a pass, though. I think we're all feeling a little disgruntled that we're talking about this Reddick situation on the first day of training camp. The Jets have a team where everything literally has to go right because they can't adjust. That's a fair comment. And that's where you worry about the coaching staff. And that's where you give credit to Joe Douglas, because I think he recognized like this roster needs as much talent as possible because of some of the limitations with the coaching staff. I wouldn't say everything has to go right, because they have, they did survive some injuries last year. They got off to the 6-3 start. I think Rodgers is clearly the biggest thing, as long as he's under center. And you're not losing, 5 or 6 guys to season-ending injuries. I think they should be there in the end. But yeah, you certainly worry about the coaching staff making adjustments. That's certainly fair. Random Man, we need your positive energy. This deal will be resolved soon. Let's hope so. This organization makes it a point to not make adjustments their way or the highway. I mean, sometimes that's the way you got to do things, though. It's a business. Carl Lawson back is a hot take. If we were bringing back Carl Lawson, bring back Jabari Zuniga. He got cut before his first game with the Jets, which is crazy. He didn't even make it through a full season as a third-round draft pick. Unbelievable. Yes, we do have a Let's Talk Jets Discord all set up. Thank you to Random Man. I know we have a few people in there. I joined it. I've not been checking up on it, but definitely check that out. We can send out some links or post a link to join. Who is the gentleman next to PT on the screen right now? I see him here often. That was probably Random Man that you were looking at. Am I ready for the V-Man call? I'm not sure. It's been a very long time since I've talked to V-Man. I hope he's doing well. So let's bring V-Man on here.
Hey, Primetime, how you doing?
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing very good. Since I last talked to anyone, that's not any of you guys, I went on vacation.
Where'd you go? Puerto Rico?
No, what do you think?
Puerto Rico?
Yep.
How was
It was
it?
great. It was amazing. Of course, you do the obvious things. Went around Old San Juan, the forts. I went to I toured technically not. They don't call themselves a distillery because they don't distill on site, but they are the oldest rum makers in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
I went there. I went to a cigar shop. Only place that still makes cigars with Puerto Rican tobacco.
Nice. And you're allowed to bring it back here?
Of course you're allowed to bring it back. I don't remember the exact limit. I don't remember the exact limit how much you're allowed to bring back, because but they tell. I remember it's about, like, you can bring back about 3 bottles of rum and about it. I don't remember how many cigars the rule is, but yeah, no, I got that. I got some coffee, because they call Puerto Rican coffee is called the coffee of kings and popes.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, no, it's really good coffee. So I got some of that. I toured. So yeah, obviously you hit the beach. Zip line through the rainforest. I checked out the hot springs. I visited my cousins for the first time in my life. They're two nice old. They're 2 wonderful old ladies. And sadly, their house looks like Irma hit yesterday.
That's sad.
Yeah, there were 7 buckets on the floor to catch leaky cement ceiling.
Sorry to hear that.
They're
when
really
did you get
nice.
Back? How long were you out there for? When'd you come back?
I was out there about a week. It was great. It was about a week. Although it rained all the time, but just the rain always seemed to cut out right when we needed it. Except for the last day. We're touring El Moro, the fort, and we literally get stuck in the fort as it's raining, and we just decide to bolt it back to town, and we go into a restaurant.
Very cool.
Oh, I also toured the bio bays.
Any cool lizards?
I don't remember seeing any cool lizards, but I toured the bio bays, and I got this. And this is my favorite prize though. Also, I saw at the rum place I went to, is called Ron de Barrilito. They have a barrel of rum from 1952 that will not be opened until Puerto Rico gains its independence. On that day, they will take it to the center of town, and anybody who wants it will get free shots.
When are they expected to gain their independence?
Who knows? God, only God knows. But you know what? But I did manage to get this prize. $300. I hand bottled this myself. And do you know Primetime?
$300?
Yeah, $300. This is their 4-star rum. It's aged 10 to 20 years. And do you know when this baby will be opened?
When the Jets win the Super Bowl.
Bingo. I gotta ask you, do you have anything special for that day?
I don't, but you've inspired me. So now I will find some expensive liquor to put up on the cabinet somewhere and save it for whenever that day comes.
No, I think it's gonna come sooner rather than later. I'm feeling confident with this season.
I kind of think so too, which is scary.
The thing that gives me confident is that when you look at our, I don't really care about the preseason. I could care less. We've seen teams go undefeated in the preseason, lose every game. We've seen teams have terrible preseasons and have an amazing season, so it's irrelevant. What I think about the 2024 season, my feeling is, well, the way I feel about it is I like the schedule for the most part. Yes, you have the only real tough game on the schedule, the one that worries me the most. It's the first game of the year, so you're probably going to get them a little rusty. I'd rather play them rusty than when they're rolling on all cylinders. That's my opinion with the 49ers. Everyone has their different opinion, but that's my opinion. And then after that, yes, you have a lot of games that are all close up to one another, but they're all against quarterbacks that are either meh quarterbacks or rookie quarterbacks.
Do you worry about the two different stretches of 3 games and I think it's like 11 days and 12 days, both of them before the bye week?
It's concerning, but like
a little bit older.
Well, like I said, the thing is like that game stretch where it's like up until Allen, we're playing between the Niners and the Bills. We're playing a bunch of nobody quarterbacks, so that really doesn't concern me in that stretch. Because let's be honest, you're not wetting your pants at the sight of Will Levis. You're not scared of whoever. You're not scared of Jacoby Brissett or what's the quarterback the Patriots took? Drake May. You're not scared of Sam Darnold or JJ McCarthy.
Watch out for someone.
And who's the other one? I know I'm missing one. Am I missing one in between that stretch?
Probably.
Yeah, but whatever. But you get my Bo Nix. But Bo Nix, that was.
I'm only focused on the first 3 games that I'm going to, and the Broncos. Yeah, the Broncos.
Yeah, the Bo Nix. You're not worried about Bo Nix either. So in that stretch, you should be maybe winning. You should be 4. You should win like 4 out of your 5 first games.
That's fair. I'll sign up for
Honestly,
that.
My feeling for the Jets this year, because like I said, is that I feel like the Jets are going to set their franchise record for wins.
So at least 13 wins?
I feel like 13. I'm feeling 13.
Ooh, okay.
I also feel, honestly, I feel like the Jets are one of the handful of teams right now in the AFC that you could probably say, outside of Kansas City, because we know that are in legitimate contention for the 1 seed. I put Kansas City. Obviously, you're going to put the Chiefs at the top because they have Andy Reid, they have Patrick Mahomes, the other team that's consistently, performed among the top of the conference. So you put them at the mix. I think the Ravens are going to take a step back. So I think it's the Chiefs.
Does 13 wins get them the number 1 seed?
Well, could depending on what we see. I think their floor. I think that's probably they're probably going to be in that 13 range. 13, I think, is like. I think they could win 13 games. Possible, maybe they get maybe a couple bounces their way, some breaks. I think like I said, I think they'll be competing in the mix. I'm not going to say they're going to win it, but I think they'll be one of those teams late in the year that's maybe trying to win out that 1 seed. I think it's between them.
Talent-wise, I'm with you. I just think the coaching staff has a lot to prove. But talent-wise, I definitely think this is a 13-win roster talent-wise, yeah.
Yeah, no, I know there are concerns, but like I said, it's more just due with the offense and the defense. I think the biggest problem with them is just that they just don't adjust fast enough. But I think we might see a change with that this year.
Jets make the playoffs, you gonna eat a ghost pepper?
Actually, I got like a bottle of Don Julio 1942 for that.
You should infuse it with like some ghost peppers.
Like I got, I mean, I'm not gonna waste a good like $80 tequila on a
All right,
ghost pepper.
last question before I let you go. Thoughts on this whole Hassan Reddick situation, and how do you think it gets resolved?
Well, I think that a lot of people in the Jets fan, I think, agree with the fact that this situation kind of became a situation because of the JFM trade. I think his agent probably saw that, now their pass rush depth has decreased. Now we can go out there and try to haggle, get a bit more, get a better deal than what initially probably was on the table. And I think that's what brought it out. I think eventually we're gonna see a deal done in the coming weeks, because eventually he's gonna realize he doesn't want to lose money, and he knows the holdout is not gonna help him.
All right, well said, man. Hope you enjoy the rest of your summer.
Oh yeah, no, it's gonna be great. I'll be out at the home opener, and I got this for when I'm going out there. This is the 3-star.
Okay.
Now, because the thing was, the person who hooked me up with
giving me like 5 different liquor bottles already.
No, the thing was, this is for Jake, because he was the one who helped hook me up with the Puerto Rico trip, so I had to get him something in return.
Okay.
So, but then he said, you know what? Just bring it to the home opener, and anybody who wants it is gonna get it. We'll have some drink.
All right, that's very nice of you, man.
Yeah, well, I'll talk to you later, man. Have a good evening.
Right, talk to you later. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Peace.
See you later. Always good hearing from B-Man. Chat is ruthless. All right, and we got our closer to close it out. Jose, it's been too long, man. How the hell you been?
I can't believe I'm about to say this, and I actually mean it, but I missed you.
Aw, I missed you too, man. How's life going?
How are you?
Hanging in there. Busy summer, trying to stay busy with coaching and all sorts of shit going on. But how have you been?
Good. Going through some personal things, so this has been nice distraction tonight.
That's what I miss, man. I miss having this as a distraction. Like late at night when I'm going through the same shit, all the different emotions that usually come in at night when you're just by yourself trying to crash at night. Like this is where you get it all out. You escape. You kind of just like settle in a little bit. So I do miss having this.
Right, and we've missed you. Although the chat has been asking, Tyson, what's going on with you? VT, what's going on with you?
That's not me. Listen, I'm home every night. If I don't get an invite, I'm not gonna hop on when I'm not wanted, But hey, we're doing the show Monday, so we'll be back Mondays. I feel like in the off season, Tyson likes to branch out and talk with other people, so it's all good.
The chat is saying that. I'm not saying anything. I keep my mouth shut. Although last time Tyson was on with Buzz, I wanted to say, "Oh, PT, you look different." But I bit my tongue. I bit my tongue. Now I'm not missing Jamal. Tennessee is gonna hate Jamal.
What a terrible trade that was for you guys.
It worked out a year.
Thoughts on the new Eminem album? You get a chance to listen to that yet?
Not yet. Too busy to listen to Kendrick Lamar every day.
Okay.
Shout out to Compton. Shout out to California. Where there's not like a
California.
So let's talk about Hassan Reddick.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on this Reddick situation, man?
Like most of the callers have already said, this would be a non-factor had you just extended Bryce Huff.
Yes.
a complete non-factor if you had just extended Bryce Huff.
They could have extended Huff 2 years ago, and then by doing that, they're not forced into taking Will McDonald last year. That probably turns into Zay Flowers or another receiver, and you kill two birds with one stone. And then you could take that Mike Williams money, put that somewhere else. Like the trickle down effect just sucks from losing Huff.
I agree. Now, will a deal get done? Yeah, I'm 60-40 on that because
a deal to get him in camp just for this year, like reworking the 1 year that's left, or an extension?
No, a long term.
Okay, I don't see an
long-term deal. Let me rephrase that. A long-term deal, easy for me to say. Good grief, I can barely speak English today. I apologize.
You're good, man. You're good.
Does a long-term deal get done? I'm 60-40 on that.
Okay.
Because before the Eagles, when he was with the Cardinals, Hassan Reddick didn't do much, which is why the Eagles got him for like a 6th-round pick, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody can correct me in the chat if I'm mistaken.
Well, I know. I'm not sure what they gave up to get him in the trade, but I know when he signed his contract, though, at the time it was amongst I think the top 5 pass rushers. Now I think he's ranked like 20th. So it's obvious why he wants to rework his deal to be in line with what he's done over the last number of years. I just don't think the Jets are in position to do that with the guys that they have to pay right now.
Right. I'm going to say this and this only if it comes down to not cutting time. Excuse my language. And that's already kind of shown up. Courtesy of for Darrell Taylor. Not much of a run stopper, but he is a rusher that will give up a 3rd-round pick because he's not that great of a run defender.
Who, Reddick?
No, Darrell Taylor from the Seattle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I'm just throwing that name out there.
Okay.
Because he's on the chopping block, and it would be nice to get something for him. Because I think he's more than likely going to get cut if he doesn't get traded.
You think the Seahawks are going to start dealing off pieces soon? Full rebuild?
We'll see after the season. We'll see after that. We'll see how the season goes. If it goes well, probably. Not if it goes horribly. Yes. Everyone's getting cut. Everyone's getting traded. A lot of contracts are easy to get out for the Seahawks after the season. So that's a good thing. Do you mind if I plug my channel really quick?
Absolutely, bro. Go ahead.
So,
you're always welcome to plug your channel.
So, this past Friday, I did a live with my co-host, Scrub, and we did a power ranking. And I put the Jets in the top 10. I think they were number 8 or 7 or 8.
That's fair.
I can't remember exactly where.
I feel like that's honestly exactly where they should be. Like anything higher than that isn't earned yet. Like they haven't proven anything on the field. We could talk about all this talent that they have, but the coaching staff and the team together hasn't done it yet. So I think somewhere in the top 10 is probably where they belong, but definitely not like top 5 or anything crazy like that.
So please go check that out. Like it, subscribe. PT, glad to see you still with us. Thank God
Glad
for
to
that.
be here.
And thanks for having me.
Thanks for calling in.
Anytime.
Last question before you go. You doing fantasy again this year? I didn't
Yes,
get my invite yet.
Yes, I am. What up?
I didn't get my invite yet.
Hi. We might kick Romeo out
Okay.
because he never paid.
I'm ready to go. So hit me up.
I will. All right.
All right, be good, man.
PT.
Good talking to you, bro.
Good night, guys.
Right,
Night chat, night PT.
All right, I'll finish up with a few chats here that I did not. Harris announces Aaron Rodgers to be a repick. Don't even get me started talking politics. I've never talked one word politics on this show. I'm not going to start now, but crazy the state of the country right now, just wild. I don't care about the rankings, just win games. That's absolutely fair. Hard to talk about expectations, when a team hasn't made the playoffs in 13 years. So, got the Yankees first and second, bottom of the seventh, down 1 right now. All right, so we will wrap this up. Sam Darnold on Geno Smith trajectory. I think he's probably going to win the Vikings job. Crazy enough. I don't think it's going to be McCarthy. So let's go Mets. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Kind of an impromptu show tonight. Just wanted to get back in the swing of things. I'll be at training camp Thursday. I'll be there Saturday as well. So I'll be posting plenty of videos throughout the day there. And then next Monday, me and Tyson will be back, probably taking some calls. So look forward to it. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Appreciate the chat. Talk to you guys later.